All right. Welcome in. It's ATB show at the buzzer. Rubber shoes. And I have crawled out of the wilderness to come back to the ATB show. I'm so excited to be here.
Welcome back.
Thank you. It's been quite a while. I mean, it feels like it's been a long time. It's only been 3 shows that I've been gone, but I'm very excited to be back.
But since we only do one a week, it's been like a month.
Yeah, it's been almost a month. Yeah, actually a month basically to this week. Yeah. So I'm happy to be back. And Rubber Shoes, it's nice of you to join me on we're going to call this ATB show after dark tonight because we're going at 7:30. Timmy is on assignment somewhere in the southwest part of the country.
He's heading to Texas.
Yeah. He took the election a little bit too seriously. Now he's trying to move to the reddest of red, although I guess that's the entire country at this point. We won't get into that. Scotty is nursing I don't want to share his medical. He's nursing a condition. Let's just say that.
That actually sounds worse.
That sounds worse. He injured himself playing basketball with his sons. Yeah, all right. Let's just put it that way. It's not a condition, but we don't know what the outcome of that will be. So we're wishing him well and hoping that everything goes according to plan, at least so he has a short-term recovery. And Corey, I think, is in the air somewhere. We're not really sure. He's traveling somewhere. Yeah. So it's me and Rubber Shoes tonight. You get us both, and lots of Patriots and Bruins talk. But first, we are brought to you by our friends at AAA Work Trucks. Rubber Shoes, take it away.
Oh, yeah. Timmy hasn't asked me to do this in a long time. So brought to you by AAA Work Trucks, your one-stop shop for all your work truck needs. If it goes in or on a vehicle, it's a good chance that AAA could take care of you. Give them a call at 866-783-6222 or check them out online at aaaworktrucks.com. So it's
like riding a bike.
It's AAA Work Trucks, but I'd like to tell everyone out there that we do stuff on personal vehicles also.
Oh, so I did not know that. Okay.
If you need WeatherTech mats for your SUV or your car, we can get those. If you need the rain guards for your windows, and so we do other stuff. Hitch for your car or SUV, we do that also. I know it says Work Trucks, but we do all that other.
Oh, you'll do a trailer hitch?
Yes.
Oh, I might have to hit you up after the winter because I'm trying to put one on my. It might be kind of a far drive to get you to do it, but if I'm up there, maybe figure it out because I'm trying to get one on my Pilot so that I can tow a couple of jet skis, which is in the plans hopefully for the summer.
Nice.
So we shall see.
Yeah, I have to put one on my new car because I got to be able to.
What'd you get?
Or I have a Altima.
Oh, nice.
Nissan Altima. It's an all-wheel drive, so
what are you towing?
I need my bike rack.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if I'm gonna do a tow hitch bike rack, or I don't like the ones that just go on the back of the trunk.
Yeah. You don't really get a lot. It doesn't feel very secure. The ones that go on the back of the trunk, I think. Well, in any ways, if in any event, if you need AAA Work Trucks for your own personal vehicle, certainly reach out to Rubber Shoes on the Facebooks, on the YouTubes, and I'm sure he can help you out and figure out how to get.
You can request quotes on the AAA Work Trucks or American Automotive Aftermarket. That's what the AAA stands for. So you can go to our Facebook page and you can request quotes off of there, or you can request quotes off of our webpage.
I did not.
Or you can reach out to me.
We've been doing this show for 3 years, maybe, and AAA Work Trucks has been sponsoring it since pretty much the beginning. Yeah. And I did not know that that's what AAA stood for. So now I have learned. That's fantastic.
Yes. Yeah.
And Joe and Leslie are probably still hungover from the Patriots win, so that's good. Were they? No, they weren't there, right? Because was it?
It was in Chicago.
Yeah, it was in Chicago. Yeah. This is where, and we'll start with the Patriots because it's got to be the Patriots because there's only so much good news that's going to come out of Foxborough over the next few months. So this was good news. I have to admit that my plan for the afternoon was to watch only the Celtics because I'm like I'm tired of watching the Patriots lose, and I'm not saying that they're not trying hard. I wouldn't call them soft like Gerard Mayo did, but I'm just tired of watching them lose. And I needed a break from them losing. And I had other stuff to do. So I was like, all right, I set my time for 3:30. I was going to watch the Celtics. And I peeked in on the score and it was 10-3. I'm like, damn, okay, maybe I'll watch it. So I flipped over to it. What do you think, Drake May? I mean, is it because the Bears are terrible, or did Drake May have a good game?
It's a little bit of both.
Okay.
The Bears are kind of skidding right now. They had
Yeah.
a couple weeks where they did look pretty good, and Caleb Williams looked pretty good, but he's kind of I don't know if other teams are figuring him out and confusing him because the Patriots had 9 sacks yesterday,
Yeah,
and
that's
that's
crazy.
because a lot of it's because he's holding on to the ball too long. So I think he might be getting confused in what he's seeing now. They're kind of playing tricks with him because
Yeah, because he's a
you know
young guy.
he yeah, when being a rookie you've only seen so much and there's only so much preparation you can do. So if they're out there, uh it'll look a certain way pre-snap, and then in the
Right.
NFL they can make it look one way, and then once you snap the ball, then it's a total different defense. So it's that's what Brady said was the easiest thing in his 40th 40s, was that he knows the answers to all the tests
Yeah.
because he's
Yeah.
seen everything. But then
Right.
when
He
you're a
doesn't know the
rookie,
answers to the
yeah,
announcing test, but we'll
yeah,
get to that in a little
yeah.
while.
when
Um,
you're
yeah, go ahead.
when you're a rookie, you can only you prep for a team, and they only there's only so much old video you can go over. Especially
Right.
a lot of these teams, the turnover for coaches is pretty quick. So there's only a year or two of footage that you can go through to see what their tendencies are.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think that it's probably a combination of of a variety of things, right? I mean, like you said, um, his rookie season catching up to him, Drake May starting to find his footing a little bit, and let's be honest, I mean, the Bears' defense isn't that great, so combination of things. But let's
Yeah,
give Drake May his due, right? I mean, we asked for him. Do we think that not to play this game, but do we think Jacoby Brissett would have won that game yesterday?
probably not. I'm thinking probably not. Although,
Probably
I
not.
mean, the defense. So, another thing with the Chicago yesterday, they did have they two of their offensive linemen didn't play, and then another one got hurt in the first quarter. So they
Right.
their line was kind of beat up. So part of that's that also. Um, Drake May, I tell you, I knew he was athletic because
Yeah.
I watched UNC games because I'm a UNC kind of football fan. I'm mostly basketball, but I do pay attention to their football team too,
Mhm.
especially where he was possibly going to be in the mix for us drafting him. I paid more attention to him last year, and I knew he was athletic, but I think he's showing more because he has to. Like, I don't think
It's
he was pushed to the limit where he has been in the pros, and I'm pretty excited with
Yeah,
what
me
we
too.
have.
It's weird because he's not he doesn't look super athletic. Which is weird to
Right.
say. I mean, he's a big guy, but
Yeah.
he almost to me looks like you expect him to be like a Brady just
Yeah.
because of his size and his just physicality. And then he takes off and you're like, whoa. And he can move within the pocket pretty well. If we can keep him upright for 2 or 3 seconds, he's getting the ball out and getting it down the field. To me,
Yeah.
those are, signs that there is something there. May not be this year, but there are signs that there are some things there. And now we just need to draft well and put some pieces around him. Draft well and
That
use free
that's
agency.
where I'm torn this season. Like
Yeah,
it's nice to see him win to build his confidence, but every win is going to be a drop in the draft
right.
because so coming into this week, there were 9 teams tied with the same record, and
Which
I
is
believe
insane.
I believe the Patriots had the first pick had the draft started last week. I
Okay.
believe the Patriots would have had the first pick, and now they won, and I think there's 5 teams still with 2 losses. I mean, 2 wins. So they're at least picking sixth. right now just by that one win.
So let me ask you this. All right. And I'm going to play the Scotty role for a second because Scotty is not
Yep.
on.
Yep.
All right. So the Patriots play. So the Patriots are 3-7. They
Yep.
play the Rams next. The Rams are 4-4. I would say they're kind of a soft 4-4. I wouldn't say they've been killing teams certainly. And
I think they play tonight, so they could be 5-4.
they could be 5-4 or
Yeah.
4-5. Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough. Then they play the Dolphins in Miami, so that's always a tough place to play. So with that caveat, but right now the Dolphins are 2-6.
Yeah,
Then
and
they play the
They're
Colts.
playing the Rams. So those are the two teams they're playing tonight.
Oh, okay, so one of them will be
Yeah.
They could either be 2-7 and 5-4, or the other way around.
Yeah.
Then they play the Colts. The Colts are 4-6. Okay, at this moment, and then it gets tougher. They have the Cardinals, the Bills, the Chargers, and the Bills. I mean, the fact that you have the Bills 2 weeks, with a week in between,
Yeah.
2 and 3 weeks is tough. All right, so let's say I'm just for argument's sake, rubber shoes. Okay, I know this probably drives you bananas, but I'm gonna just give us the next 3 wins. All right, just for argument's sake.
Okay.
So we're 6-7 going into the game against the Cardinals. 4 games left.
Yep.
Do you think it is possible we finish 8-9 and squeeze into the playoffs?
So
that means we'd have to beat either
3. So 8. So you're saying 5 more wins?
5 more wins. So I'm saying the next 3 are wins. And then we would have to beat
they have to
the
win
Cardinals, the Bills, or the Chargers. They'd have to win 2 out of the last 4.
Yeah. It's possible because the NFL is pretty bad. The majority of the NFL is pretty bad.
It really is. It really is.
I mean, they're every week watching it's in. So I watch Red Zone all day.
Oh yeah.
And there's a lot of bad football.
It's awful. I mean, just look at the Chiefs game. The Chiefs game where they only won 16-14. Yeesh.
In any week, other than unless you're playing the Chiefs, any team can win.
Right.
Because somehow if it's not calls being made to get the Chiefs to win, or calls not being made, where 2 weeks ago they got illegal motion by far. The Chiefs lineman moved a good second before the ball was snapped. They didn't throw a flag, and they won on that play.
That's crazy.
It's like the stuff. It's like I'm not a conspiracy theorist, and it's like, but there's a lot of stuff when you're paying attention.
Yeah,
you notice stuff. You're like, really? It's like, can it be just a coincidence every week that something happens, and then them getting the block kick? It's like, are you kidding me?
Right, every time. Oh, we're trying to get them to 17-0 so they can be,
Yeah,
I totally agree with you.
They don't look that good, but they figure out a way to win every week.
Every week. Well, the NFL helps them a little bit too.
Yeah.
I have a conspiracy theory I want to go over with you with the Celtics too. So when we get to that, don't let me forget. Just the last piece on this. So the only team we play that is in the 2 teams that we play that are in the hunt for the 8th spot are the Colts and the Dolphins. So we could basically, with a win over them, pretty much knock them out of contention. So if we can beat the Dolphins and beat the Colts, that makes us, well, we won't be 5-7 because there's a game in between there. But so let's say we're 6-7 going into that last set of 4 games. I think it's a long shot. Listen, I think it's a long shot. But if I were, so this is where it's a weird part of the season, right? Because it's like, okay, yeah, it'd be fun for them to go on a little winning streak here. It'd be fun for them to beat up on some crappy teams, even though we assumed they're kind of a crappy team. But if they do that and they get to 6-7 and then they lose their last 4 and they, close out and they're 6-11, that's like in a crappy draft spot, right? You're not going to finish last with a 6-11 record. So it's a weird, I don't know how I feel about it, because I don't like the fact that I sat down on Sunday and was like, I don't know. I don't want to watch them lose again,
I like to see a good game, but I'm not rooting for them to lose. I know on our text group text, it may sound like I'm rooting for them to lose. I'm not rooting for them to lose. But I'm not mad if they lose, you
Okay.
know? So
Yeah.
that's more how it is. You know, it and for some reason Tyler was saying this yesterday. He's like, for some reason, the Patriots figure out how to beat the Bills like one of they they rarely get swept by the Bills.
Right.
Somehow they figure out how to win
Yeah.
one
Remember the
game
game where
against them.
they didn't throw the ball at all?
Yeah.
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 They just
So it's
ran it and
like
won.
something could happen that they end up winning one of those games. So I I really don't want to be in the middle of the pack though, like just
No.
missing the playoffs and making the playoffs. Yeah, it's nice to get Drake May some experience, but we need we the Patriots need so much that they're not going to go out and sign all these people. They have to get stuff through the draft, and
Right.
the worse pick you have, the less of the talent you're going to be able to draft. So that's the only thing that I'm trying to look for the future, and there's, there's some pretty good talent that's going to be at the top of the draft next year. So it's
Yeah.
why I
Well, it
hope.
worries me a little bit too because oh, what's the guy's name? I can't even remember the last guy that we had. I can't even
Mac
remember his
Jones.
name. Mac Jones. Thank you.
Yeah,
I'm like, that was a senior moment. Apologies. The last time we went through this, the first year of Mac Jones, we were like, who needs Brady? We're in the playoffs.
yeah,
Next year, we're going to be in the Super Bowl, you know? And then the following year, it was an absolute train wreck. And now he doesn't
yeah.
play for
That
us.
was bad
It was
decisions
kind of a
in
fluke,
coaching.
honestly. It was bad coaching. It was bad. It was bad everything. And it was kind of a fluke that they even backed into the playoffs that year.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah,
really
and
had
it
no
was like
chance
everyone.
in
So
those.
Mac Jones was in the Pro Bowl, but it was
Right.
because 10
8
people
people back
said
up.
no
Yeah,
ahead of him.
yeah, exactly. So, all right. So I'm rooting. I'm gonna do what you do. I think for the rest of the season is root for a really good game. So all of the Patriots get good reps. All of the players get good reps. So they feel what it's like to run the 2 minute drill. So they feel what it's like to have the crowd going crazy and
Yeah,
you trying to, score the last touchdown or last field goal. And I'm rooting for them to like shank the last field goal or
like
come up
last week
short.
was great.
Right.
They tied it up. They went into overtime and they
And they
lost in
lost.
overtime. And
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
like it is. I really wanted them to win that game too because Drake May came back. He made the play, got the touchdown, got the tie, go to overtime. I really wanted them to come through with that win that
Yeah.
week against Tennessee, but um, yeah, it, every win kind of hurts because I know it's like so we just went from the first pick in the draft to actually it's gotta be at least sixth right now.
Where do you go to find this out? I don't even know.
I just go to that, just look at the standings
Oh, the
and
standings. Okay.
yeah.
While you're looking,
So
go ahead. See if
let's
you can
see.
find it.
Right now, yeah, see, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Five with two wins, and then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Five with three wins.
Okay. So really, we can't judge yet. But if we win a few in a row, we're not going to be in that mix
Yeah,
most likely. So
and those two win teams, there's probably not going to be. There's probably going to be one that stays with only two wins.
yeah, most
Probably at
likely.
least one.
Yeah. It's weird though. I like the fact that they played well the last two games.
Yeah, and
I don't know. It's
so
hard.
Carolina, who's one of those worst teams, they won two in a row. They look like they got a little thing going. So it's like
Yeah.
maybe the bad teams like we were saying, every week there's a lot of bad teams that pull off wins that you're like they shouldn't have won that game, but
There's mostly
there's a
bad
lot
teams in
of
the
it.
NFL at
Yeah,
this
I
point.
I would say.
It's awful.
I mean, right there, that was so. What was that? That was like 10 teams with three
Yeah,
wins
10
or
teams.
less.
Yeah, it's insane. So a third of the league has
Yep,
3 wins or less. That's
yep,
crazy.
yep.
All right. So the last piece on the NFL, and then we'll move on to either the Celtics or the Bruins, but is just the undefeated watch for the Chiefs. I don't like to talk about it, although I do want to talk about it because I want to jinx it as much as I can, which is nothing. But they do play the Bills this weekend.
Yeah.
Big game this weekend. I have never rooted so hard for the Bills in my entire life because then KC has the Panthers, the Raiders, the Browns, the Texans, the Steelers, who are decent, and then the Broncos, who are a 500 team.
But
And
almost beat them yesterday.
right, but you think it's actually going to go that way next time?
I mean,
Probably not.
their defense, Denver's defense is pretty good, and their
Yeah,
rookie quarterback is looking better and better each week. So you never know.
you never know.
Um,
You never know. But I'd like to get it out of the way now. I'd like to get that
Especially
one
if
loss out of the
they're,
way now.
you're gonna figure at the end of the season if Kansas City's looking to rest
Right,
players.
right.
Um,
The real question will be, will the media, let's say they get they're 15-0. Will
yeah.
the storyline be that the Kansas City Chiefs had a weak schedule because the NFL stinks, and if they go undefeated, it doesn't really count because the NFL stinks? Because boy, wouldn't that sound familiar to what they talked about with the Celtics and their
Yeah.
finals run last year?
No, they will
It
not
won't be that
because the
way. No, they will be
media's on
falling
their
all over
side. Yeah.
themselves. Yes, they will be falling all over themselves to praise and shower Travis Kelsey and Patrick Mahomes with the greatest of all time. And they're going to be the ones that stop the Dolphins from
So
popping
all I
champagne. And
know is
ugh,
starting last
exhausting.
week. So this is two wins in a row for Kansas City.
Yeah.
I decided I'm betting on Kansas City to win every week until they lose. So either I'm gonna make money off of it or I'm
Or they're
gonna
going to go
jinx them to
undefeated.
lose.
Yeah. Well, there you go. I like that. I hope you earned a lot of money. I hope you won a lot of money.
I'm a very small better, like so
Yeah. Yeah.
I bet like whatever's in my account, I'll bet $1 and whatever changes in there. That's all. Yeah. So I won like 50 cents
Don't
yesterday.
take rubber shoes to the craps table.
Yeah.
Don't take rubber shoes to the
No,
craps
no,
table.
but I'm a very conservative better.
Okay.
I
Well,
do it so just so I have something to watch. Like I'll
gives you a
do
reason. Yeah. Yeah.
I've been doing because I've been thinking about it with so if we think the Celtics are gonna win, they're gonna win 60 plus games, say.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, if I bet on them every game, they're only gonna lose 12. And then I was like, okay, if I bet on them on except when they're playing like so I didn't bet on them when they played Golden State because Golden State's winning
Always a
at an
thorn in our side.
80% clip.
Yeah.
So if I take those out, it minimizes my losses. So you can get stay ahead at least, like you're
Mhm.
not gonna lose, you're gonna win way more than you lose.
This is the most cerebral breakdown of sports betting I've ever heard, Rubber
Because
Shoes. So I'll give you a
the
lot of
thing. I'm
credit
like,
for
do
that.
people actually think this way? Because if you take, if you have the top two or three teams in the NBA, they're gonna win around
At
60
least 60
games
games.
and
Yeah.
only lose 12. So
Right.
that's if you. But then I did the math. I was like, so I did the math, and if you win because if you so you bet the money line, which they're gonna be minus odds. So it's
Hmm.
like minus 110. So you gotta bet $110 to win a like a wait, how's that? I forget how that. But
I
anyway,
don't
so
even know how it
I
works.
bet $1 and I win like 20 cents.
Right.
So if you do that over the time and then you lose 12 games, you end up almost at even.
So let's talk about this other. I know nothing about betting, so you just
Yeah.
gave a much more succinct reasoning behind your betting than I have ever known because I'm so scared to lose money. It's not even funny,
Yeah.
which is so stupid. But
But like I said, I literally bet $1 and whatever changes in my, so it's $1 plus whatever change, because I hate having odd. I like having even. I like having
totally
$3.
I do understand that because I'll go to
So
the gas station
yeah.
and it'll be like, you know, 10,
So when I
22,
bet,
and
if
I'm
I
always trying to get
lose,
it to
and it
25.
will end up being, $5 even if I lose, I can live with that.
Yeah.
I don't like having that extra change in there.
All right, let's move on to the Celtics rubber shoes
Yes. So
because
you said something
some good
about some
news.
conspiracy theory that you
Oh
have for
yeah,
the
yeah.
Celtics.
So my conspiracy theory is this: the league does not want the NBA, the Celtics, to win the title again this year. And here is my evidence. It's weak evidence right now, but keep an eye out for it as it goes along on the season. So the Celtics played terrible in the first half against the Bucks, right? We came out
Yes.
not great against the Nets either. So we kind of had two sort of soft first halves in back-to-back games. We come out in the third quarter, we are gangbusters. We look like the Celtics again. We have energy. We're doing great. We're coming back furiously. And we get to a point where it's, I don't know, we're up two, down two, whatever it is. Tatum catches the ball in the corner, rises up for a three, misses the three, but Giannis gets into his landing space. That's an easy whistle.
Yeah.
Whistle, call it. Three free throws and the ball. Basically, the game swings on that play. Game over, right? Nope, that's not what they did. Not only did they not blow the whistle for a foul at all, they let Tatum be out of the play. They let him be writhing in pain. And the NBA is desperate for either Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum to have an extended injury. And so I think they are looking for, they would love, you know who they would love? They would love Cleveland to win. Because Cleveland is just on a heater right now, and they have a couple of young stars that they would love to highlight. I think they would love to see the Timberwolves win or OKC. They want to elevate Shea. They want to elevate Edwards. No?
See, those are small market teams. Like
Yeah.
I think they care about ratings the most. So to take that perspective, you look at the World Series, it was LA versus
New
the
York. Yeah.
Yankees, New York. They did the best numbers ratings wise they've ever done.
Okay. That makes sense.
And that's why I think that, like, they would love the Knicks
Mm-hmm.
and
Okay.
the Lakers, but I don't think the Lakers have a
Lakers
chance.
don't
But
have it.
they would want another big market, especially a team that has national followers. Like, there's
Appeal. Yeah.
Laker fans everywhere. There is something about the Celtics though that they don't like.
They just don't like them.
They don't respect Boston.
No. Which
Like,
is
there's
weird
Celtics
because,
fans all over, but
I mean, we fill arenas. Like, you watch that
I
Charlotte
think
game,
it's
those
yeah,
Charlotte
I
games.
think it's the media market is not huge in Boston compared to New York,
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, Boston's like 9. I mean, it's not like it's
Yeah.
a small market. It's like the 9th biggest market in the country. Okay, so you've got
Because
New
I think
York,
I would
Chicago.
think the Celtics got to be up there in the top 5 as far as followers
I would think
across
so.
the country.
Who else is
Probably
who else is bigger?
uh
The Lakers,
it's I would think it's Lakers,
Knicks.
Celtics would be 1 and 2, but the youth, they follow players
Yeah,
instead of teams. So that kind of throws off, like, definitely people our age, we watch the
teams.
teams.
Yeah.
Kids, I mean, I saw it was I was watching some clip and it was local and there was a kid with a LeBron James jersey on.
Oh, you must have thrown something at your TV.
It's like there's so much, you see a lot of that. Like, they like the players, and I guess
Yeah.
a little, like, I love Jordan, but I don't. I mean, I did have a Jordan jersey, but I think I like the player, but I still rooted for the Celtics. Number one, these kids are
Oh,
they
that was
like
during your
Steph.
Celtics rooting time or the Lakers? Do you
So that
forget?
would have been Lakers, Detroit Pistons time. Yeah. So yeah, I didn't really
Kids
root.
these
I
days, man.
didn't.
Kids these
I didn't.
days.
But I didn't. I didn't root for Chicago per se. Like I just like watching Jordan, but I didn't root for the Bulls.
Right. So if the
Now the
Celtics were playing the
kids.
Bulls, you would root for the Celtics, even though
Well,
Jordan
I
was on the
wasn't a
team.
Celtics fan, so
Well, you would root for
if
the
if he
Lakers.
was playing
Or you
against
would root for the Pistons.
the Lakers or the Pistons, I would be rooting for them. Yeah, but now I think, a kid loves Steph Curry. I think he's rooting for Golden State.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. I think
More.
I think that's true. Um, let's talk about all right, that's my conspiracy theory. I think that the Celtics, I think it's amazing that we're 9-2 now, 8-2, 9-2. Um, honestly, Tatum has been out of his mind, and him and Pritchard have basically been carrying the team.
Yeah,
Um, I know Jalen's been injured, and so I'm not, I have nothing bad to say about Jalen. You're injured, you got to work your way back into the game. Get that. Al's had his spots, Derek's had his spots, Drew's had his spots, but really it's been Tatum and Pritchard leading the way in
yeah.
the
The
early going of the
games.
season.
Sorry, the games where they're all clicking. They can't
Unbelievable.
lose.
Right.
Like there's nobody's beating them when they're all clicking. They're just amazing.
I know. And the fact that, and this isn't a unique take, but the fact that they are doing this without Porzingis
Yes.
is incredible. And can you imagine a two big lineup with Porzingis and Keita? Like,
Yeah,
talk
Cade has
about
been playing good.
athletic.
Cornette's been playing good.
Yep. I think Cornette was out yesterday, yes, but he
Yeah.
has been playing well.
Yeah,
Um,
Cater is. I was expecting more from Cater in the playoffs last year, but for some reason,
yeah, they didn't like him, or not didn't
Missoula
like him.
didn't
They didn't
use
think
him
he
at
was
all.
ready.
But I think they're getting. He's kind of a wild card out there. Like
Yeah.
you're afraid he's gonna do something crazy.
He's
And
gotten so much better though.
oh my
In
god,
just the
his
first 10 games of the season, he's gotten better.
just having his length out there.
Oh yeah,
Like
100%.
I'm surprised they didn't have him out there more against Giannis. Like just
Yeah,
to
but a guy like him, I remember when we had Rob Williams, and not that they're the same player, they certainly aren't, but when we had Rob Williams, I always got nervous when he would be out there against Giannis because he just didn't have the size. Like he
yeah,
had height, but he didn't have the strength. At
yeah.
least Horford to me, is like Giannis almost bounces off of Horford as opposed to going through
I mean,
him.
they played Brown on him, I think the
Yeah,
most.
well, and Drew plays a lot
Yep.
against Giannis. I mean,
Yep.
Giannis doesn't do very well when a guy knows how to use his leverage,
Yep.
be like Drew does and like Jalen does. Um, I think we are 9-2, and we haven't even come close to playing our best basketball, which is insane.
Opening night they were pretty good.
Yeah, okay, all right, opening night, but I also think there's a lot of adrenaline flowing, and so
Yeah.
I mean, like put together a run of 10 games where we just play out of our mind and not feel like, okay, listen, I'm nitpicking. Okay. I'm nitpicking around
Yeah.
the edges. We are an unbelievable team. I think we're going to make a deep, deep run into the playoffs, hopefully to the finals, and win the finals. But right now I'm nitpicking a little bit because there's just a few things to nitpick about. So I don't know if you've noticed this, but this is what has been. So we used to be so good at driving the lane and throwing the lob. I feel like we are terrible at that right now. Like we drive the lane, yes, but then we throw up the lob, and the lob is like off the guy's back arm, or if it hits the rim, or hits the backboard. It's like really weird. We've lost our touch on that, especially Pritchard.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's like weird. That's one little small thing that I noticed. So I don't know. There's not a lot to say about the Celtics aside from
The one thing
playing really
that
well.
I can't figure out is they struggle with younger teams that play effort basketball, like the
Yeah.
Nets the other night. They like guys that give it their maximum effort the whole time they're out there on the floor.
Right.
They like they struggle against those teams. Like Indiana's that type of team,
Yep.
Orlando's that type of team, and they have trouble with those teams when it counts. They swept Indiana last year, but
Yep.
they were also missing Halliburton for a couple of those games. Um,
I want to see
it'll be
what they.
interesting if Cleveland stays healthy. It
Yeah.
with Allen and Mobley healthy, and you figure they didn't have Allen, and then Mitchell got hurt.
Right. I will be interested to see what happens against the Cavs. I think it's next Wednesday they play the Cavs. Um, I think you're right, but one thing I think this whole thing about having a hard time against the teams who are like maximum effort teams. I mean, even the Hornets were like this. Charlotte Hornets. We played back-to-back games with them, and they weren't particularly close games. First of all, LaMelo Ball, even though he annoys the hell out of me, is an unbelievable player.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think what it is we're like, I don't know. Like, I hate to say this because it sounds like really negative, but I think Tatum sometimes and Brown too is sort of like, what am I doing here? Why am I playing against these guys? These guys are scrubs, and like, it's human nature, but it's kind of like it's the NBA. None of these guys are scrubs,
Actually, that game was the weekend before, right? The two
Yeah, the
Charlotte
Hornets.
games.
Yeah.
We never talked about this last week. Like that, the Grant Williams
Oh
shot.
my God.
Like, what the hell was that all
That was
about?
nuts. That was absolutely nuts. And I thought Tatum handled it really well.
Yeah.
And I loved what Brown said about it, what Missoula said about it. I never heard what Grant Williams said about it, actually.
The
But
problem is, so it actually worked if he was trying to do something, because he, like, Tatum wanted to make a point so bad the second night that he kept throwing up bad shots
yeah,
whenever
yeah,
Grant Williams was on him, because he wanted to like prove a point.
right.
And it was like he gets a little off his game sometimes when he's
He does.
trying too hard.
Yeah, when the game flows for him is when he's like
Yeah.
when he's just in the
Don't
rhythm of the
think and
game.
just play. Yep.
That's right. That's right. And you know what happened? I think that happened in the Golden State game too. I still think he has like this
Yeah.
PTSD about Golden State,
Yep.
and it's just listen. I mean, I get it. Every time I see Steph Curry, I'm like, God damn, we're not going to win this game. Like literally every time we could be up 20, and I still think, oh my God, he's going to come back. He's
All right.
he's
So,
living dead.
so watching the Milwaukee game. So that was
Yeah.
Sunday. So at near the end of the game, they were up. I think they might have been up like 5.
Okay.
And Tatum took a 3 and missed. And it was probably about a minute left in the game. And I texted Tyler. I said, "Jason Tatum is not clutch." Like
Oh my God!
because
What?
it's like that like a Mitchell, a Curry, like they hit that 3 to put the dagger in the other team, and I feel like Tatum never comes up with those shots.
Oh, come on. Come on. What about the
I
backdoor
know
cut
he
that he
hit the
made against
3
the Nets?
to go into overtime the week
Yeah.
before, but I feel like it's he misses more than he hits them.
I
Like I
mean,
think Pritchard hits him more than he misses them in those clutch shots. You know,
rubber shoes. I don't have the energy to have this conversation right
I
now.
got I gotta do the research. I'm gonna find out for sure.
Yes, do your
It,
research,
it might it
please.
might be just that whenever he misses, I'm like, what the hell? And I don't think of the times that he hits, but I feel like when it's late in their within, they're either down or up within, say, 3 to 5 points, that he'll take a shot with a couple minutes left in the game. I feel like he misses more than he hits.
All right. So
I'm gonna see if I can find that stat.
do your research this week. I think it's going to be at least just you and me next week, and maybe
Yeah.
somebody else will join. I don't know, but it'll definitely be you and me next week. And
Yeah.
we'll start with Tatum isn't clutch. We will
Okay,
we will start with that. No matter what happens in Boston sports, we'll
I
start.
hope I'm right. Like that's just the feeling that I get. Like I don't feel like he puts the
When
dagger in the other team.
the first year that my daughters were old enough to watch the Celtics with me, they were, I don't know, 8, maybe 7. I'm not sure. I mean, they could have watched it before then, but that's when they were really into it and started learning about the Celtics and stuff. But it was the year that we swept the Nets in the playoffs, and I think it was Game 1 that ended with the Tatum bucket. He was cutting to the
Yeah.
basket, and Marcus Smart found him, laid it up at the buzzer. Game over. If that was to this day, even the Celtics winning the championship, that was my favorite moment watching the Celtics with my kids because they had never seen something like that before. Obviously you almost get jaded by it because you've seen it a million times. Like we're very lucky in Boston. We've seen a lot of this stuff a lot of times. They had never seen it before. They lost their mind, and to me, that will always make Tatum clutch. Just that one play. Plus, he's already got one ring, and he's only 26. So we shall see if he gets any more. Do we want to spend a few minutes on the Bruins? Because I'm going to let you have the floor on that. We've rambled on enough about how not clutch Tatum is. So,
Uh,
how are we feeling about the Bruins?
not feeling good. Although, so I had it. We'll talk positively about the
Yeah,
Bruins.
start
Okay.
positive. Start positive.
So I had an event that I had to go to Thursday night with AAA work trucks, and at the event was Tuukka Rask and Patrice Bergeron.
Nice.
So I was able, and we knew they were going to be there. So they told us if we had stuff that we wanted to get signed, we could bring it. So my wife has a bunch of Bergeron stuff. So I got a couple of things signed by him.
Cool.
Didn't have any Tuca stuff, but someone at the show had a picture with Rask and Bergeron. So I was able to get that signed by both of them. And I got my picture taken with both of them. And both guys, unbelievable guys, really nice. And like Patrice, so I've met Bobby Orr before, and Bobby Orr, up until last Thursday, I would have gone to my deathbed saying that Bobby Orr was the nicest guy, nicest Bruin, like definitely nicest Bruin, but he's just a nice guy. He'll do anything, talk to you forever. Um, Patrice might beat him. He was
Really?
so nice, and I watched how he interacted because he was actually right in front of the booth that we were set up at, and I watched him interact with person after person after person, and it's you could tell when they're genuine and when they're just
Sure.
doing
Of
it
course.
because they know they have to do it. It's
Right.
like he was genuine. He was one of the nicest guys I've ever met in my life. So
Wow.
um
That's saying something when you're
yes.
meeting somebody who's famous and that happens.
Yeah.
Um, am I allowed to share the pictures? I just grabbed them off of our text chain. Can I share the pictures, or would you
Yeah.
prefer that I didn't?
Sorry I'm coughing. My
No, you're
son
good.
just cooked stuff and I think he burnt it. So I'm like getting the
Son,
the burnt air into my mouth.
I'm gonna share my screen here. Let's see. Can you see that?
Oh, yep.
Yeah. All right. And so then I'll have the other one. Let's see if the other one will come up. Does that come up?
Yes.
All right. So I
Oh
wanted
yeah,
to
that's
share.
right. You saw those. That's right.
Yes, I wanted to share the pictures because okay, so my thought, all right, I don't watch hockey that much, but my thought is hockey guys are just big dudes, right? Generally speaking, I'm sure it's like any sport. There are people who are small and but most hockey dudes are big dudes. And so Rubber Shoes sends these pictures. Now, look, Rubber Shoes could be a professional hockey player. Look at he's huge next to these guys. I mean, you're basically the same size. Like you could totally. How tall are you, Rubber Shoes?
I'm 6'1".
Okay, and you're like just like ripped. I'm like not to like blow smoke, but like damn, I saw these pictures and I was like, oh my god, Rubber Shoes could be on the Bruins. And I know you play hockey. You still play, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah, my talent is not even close to I
Well, obviously, yeah. But and I understand too, like, I'm 6'1" as well. So if I went to
yeah,
stand next to um these guys, I would look the same height as them, but I would not look in the same shape as them.
yeah.
And then you do. I was like blown away. Like as soon as I saw it, I was like, you got to be kidding me. This Rubber Shoes is lacing up for the Bruins this year. And you heard and Bergeron told you that he might come back or no?
No, no, no. So I was joking with
Or you were
them
joking with him?
that because someone had said to score the game that was being played at the time, and I'm like, oh, they really need you back. And he said, so he does like he plays pickup hockey, I guess, on Friday mornings. He's like, if you saw me playing on Friday mornings, you wouldn't want me back.
Imagine you go to play
I'm like,
pickup hockey and
I'm sure he's
Bergeron's
still
playing.
better than everyone he's playing with, but
Oh, I'm sure.
yeah, I think the big thing is uh, um that oh, I forget what I was going to say. Someone just texted me and that just threw my train of thought off.
It
Um,
wasn't me that texted you. I can
no,
promise you that.
no,
No. All right. So back to so that's a good start to the Bruins conversation. So I appreciate that you started with positive,
yeah,
because we don't have a lot of other positive to talk about with the
yeah.
Bruins.
I unfortunately I think that the team has started to tune out the coach,
Oh no.
and that they are now tr- trying to get him fired. I think because
Really?
they had so 2 weekends ago they won 2 games in a row, but the second game on Sunday they benched Pasternak the last period of the game,
Hmm.
and I think that made some players they gave him a bad taste in their mouth. Like, why are you doing this? We just won yesterday. We're winning this game, and you're pulling this on our best player. Like, I
That seems
know the
strange.
coach is trying to prove a point, but I think he soured some guys in the locker room by doing that, and because since then they have really not looked good at all.
Hmm.
They like, and
You think a coach can get the locker room back, or once you've lost it, you've lost it?
it's hard. It'll be. I mean, I don't know what a coach can do to win them back.
Yeah.
It's because to start winning games, it's the effort of the players, and if they
Right.
don't want to play for you, I don't see them pulling oh, we're gonna win spite you, even though we want to get rid of you. So
Yeah. Yeah,
uh,
it's weird when that, like when a locker room gets locked, like the coach loses the locker room. That I mean, I was worried about that with Gerard Mayo early in the season when he called the guy soft. I was like, oh my god, he's going to lose the locker room already. And it seems
yeah,
like he's kind of stabilized that and gotten it back. But um, I just when that happens, these guys have so many options, right? I mean, even the guy you can get into free agency. You can force a trade now. And I know it's not quite the same in the NHL, but even still, I mean, they have way more options than like I'm just happy to be here, you know.
right.
And then you lose the coach. I mean, the coach loses the locker room, and forget it. There's not much coming back from it. So um, I'm bummed about the Bruins because I don't watch hockey, but I like having Celtics and the Bruins doing well at the same time. It's just kind of
Especially on
fun
the
for the
same
city.
night, right?
Yeah, exactly on the same night. And that's been pretty much the case all season long, right?
It
You've
feels
stopped
like it.
texting about it though. You've stopped
Well,
texting
I
about it.
haven't. I've had other things. So I've been either working at the fire station or working doing details and had that event. So I haven't been home to sit down to watch a game. Like I was, back and forth with the game on Sunday for the Celtics,
Okay.
and I think the Bruins played I don't know. My days are all messed up right now.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
When
you've got a lot going on, so
yeah, I had
definitely
having those
understand.
late nights working the triple, and actually I got I got to go to something this Thursday night also.
Rubber
Catch up.
Shoes is a man about town. It's unbelievable.
It's actually going to be pretty good. So it's speaking of the Veterans Day theme that we started off
Oh
with.
yes, we forgot
Uh,
to even state
so
it.
we're it's an event with one of the associations that we belong to. So it's like Northeast Builders Association or something like
Okay.
that. So
Yeah.
we're going. We sponsored, and it's at the American Heritage Museum in Stowe, Mass, which is I've heard it's unbelievable. Like they do big reenactments over there. They have like
Oh
a
wow.
lot of old um like
Civil War.
army and Air Force like aircraft and stuff there.
That's cool.
So they'll have like a big reenactment with the planes and all this
Oh wow.
stuff. So the museum, I heard they go like starting, I think with the Revolutionary War. They go up through every war that the United States have been part of, and they have like displays and stuff, and they'll have people at each of the displays talking about them, and they're all veterans that work
Oh, that's
there
cool.
doing that stuff. And also because it's Veterans Day week, they're having like so Leslie submitted a couple pictures of myself from my
Hmm.
Navy pictures back in the day, so they'll be displaying
Oh,
those
that's
pictures there.
nice.
And I'll be she asked if I could wear my dress blues, my firefighter dress blues, and they said yes, that would be great. So I'm wearing my dress blues to
Oh
the event
wow.
also. So
That's
should be fun.
awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
What a great event. What a great museum. I can't believe that even exists in Massachusetts. I had no idea.
Yeah,
So,
it's
oh, I
I've
can't wait
heard
to
a
hear
lot
about it.
about it because actually there's one guy on our fire department that does some of the reenactments. Like
Mhm.
he does the Civil War reenactments, and they do like different era stuff. I think every year they do a different one.
Wow.
Sometimes it'll be Civil War, sometimes World War II, and they have like German tanks and they have American tanks, and it's like a I guess it's
And
really
that's in Stowe,
involved.
you said?
Yes.
Stowe, Mass. Stowe,
It's
Mass.
like
Not Stowe, Vermont.
Yeah, it's on I think it's like the Stowe Hudson line, Stowe
Wow.
Mass Hudson Mass line.
What's the name of the museum again, just in case people want to check
American
it out?
Heritage Museum.
Okay, cool. Awesome. That sounds amazing. And I should have led with this, so I apologize, but I want to thank you for your service. And it is
It's
Veterans Day today.
so someone thanked, actually I had a bunch of people, and I never know what I'm supposed to say.
You
Like,
just
do I
say,
just say you're welcome? Like, I
yeah.
feel weird. Like,
I had a proud daughter moment. We were in Costco of all places, and this older gentleman walked by wearing a Vietnam veterans hat, and without prompting or anything, she just said, "Thank you for your service." And I was like,
yeah,
"All right, I'm not done as a dad, but that's a good first step. That's a
yeah,
good first
yeah,
step that she did that without being asked or without being told." So, and he just said, "You're welcome." So, I
yeah,
think "you're welcome" is just good enough. But we celebrate all on this, especially on this show, but everywhere we celebrate all of our veterans this week. And yeah, hey, listen, if you want to go see Rubber Shoes all decked out, what day is it? Rubber Shoes?
Thursday night. But it's a
Is it a
you have to
closed
be
event?
part of that.
Oh, okay. It's a closed event. Oh, bummer.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, maybe we can grab a picture and we can see a picture next week or something if
yeah,
you feel up to it. But American Heritage Museum sounds awesome, and we're grateful to Joe and Leslie for supporting Rubber Shoes in all of his endeavors outside of ATB Show, but also in supporting us here at the ATB Show. If you want to check them out, they are our sponsors. You can go to AAAWorkTrucks.com. Rubber Shoes and I will definitely be back next week. I think Monday worked. So maybe we can do Monday again, but
yeah.
we'll Rubber Shoes always posts everywhere and lets you know that we're on. And we're hoping to get possibly an injured Scotty back, and maybe Corey will have landed somewhere and he'll be able to come back with us next week. And Timmy will be in the Lone Star State for another week. and back hopefully the week before Thanksgiving. Hopefully we always try and get everybody back if we
Yeah,
can.
so actually I think it's
Week
gonna,
before
if we do
Thanksgiving.
Monday next week, it's gonna, I know he already
Gonna
said
land
the
on
only,
Monday for Thanksgiving, right?
yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah.
the only day he has available that week. So be
All
3
right.
Mondays
Well,
in a row.
listen, who knows? It might be the Monday ATB show. But this is after dark, though. I don't know if that Monday with Timmy will be after dark. So, all right, Rubber Shoes. Thanks, man. We will pick up next week. In the meantime, enjoy the Celtics in-season tournament and hope that the Bruins have not lost